What are we doing?
We're using the Ancestry.com iPad app and my Ancestry.com account to do Carly's family tree.
It's very exciting because we're kind of curious about where it goes and where my family came from and stuff.
How far back have you been able to go just asking family members?
Just talking to my grandmother, we've gotten as far back as my great-great-grandfather, I think.
Uh-huh.
But some of that's a little bit fuzzy because then it's like stories of, especially because my
Right.
grandmother, if my grandmother's talking about my grandfather's side, it's always what my grandfather's relatives had told her.
Well, do you happen to know the birth date for your grandfather on your father's side?
I don't.
Okay, that's all right.
Before we get to that, Judy, how many family members have you been able to find using this?
Well, it's a combined total of family members on my side and also on Kevin's side, but we've got well over 4,000. I'm not even sure. You just looked at the number. Was it 4,300 or 4,100, something like that?
There's a lot.
I've done a lot of this research since adding the Ancestry.com app because it's so easy to do on the iPad versus sitting in front of the computer. And it will pull up census records, military records, it'll pull up other people's family trees. There's even more when you go online, but point being, there's such a wealth of information available now that was not available to anybody that was interested in genealogy even up to 5 years ago, just because things have been databased, cross-databased, and now finding your lost relatives is not as huge an issue, assuming any records were kept for them in the first place, because that can be a problem. Like some of my immigrant ancestors, they were poor, living in Ireland, and they didn't have, they didn't warrant having records kept. So I've kind of hit a brick wall on that side. But
And is this one of those cases where the iPad app is
better than the computer?
Yeah.
No, but it's one of those cases where it's just as good for most things, but you can do a little bit more with the computer. So give me a second and I'm going to see what I can do for Carly. All right, do you know where your